Hello, Tom from D&B Tech. This video is going to be a little different. Today I'm going to give you my thoughts on the presidential debate. Wow. That's all I can say. It's like, this is what it's come down to in this country. You know, people shouting at each other. Incapable to just keep the mouth shut long enough to hear what the other guy has to say, even if you disagree with it. The choice between some arrogant jerk and some wet wash rag. So here's, most polls, I waited a couple of days till after the debate to talk about this. Most polls show it helped Biden a little bit, I think. And it certainly didn't help Trump. I don't think so. The bottom line of this election is about the people on the margins. Everybody knows this. All the pundits are saying it. I'm not an expert in any of this, but just my opinion. If you don't like it, go to a different channel. Anyway, so, the bases have already decided. You got 40% of the people in the United States that are for Trump, and 40% of the people in the United States are for Biden. And you got 20% who, for whatever reason, either declare themselves independent or aren't sure, or we don't know. And, that's going to pretty much decide the election. The two things that matter about an election are turnout and decisions. Well, the decisions for the bases are known. The turnout could change. Every once in a while, your base might not show up. That's happened in the past, right? And so, assuming the bases turn out equally, which is an assumption, then they cancel each other out, and you basically have undecideds or undeclared people who haven't said what they're going to do deciding the election. And that's fine. I don't know which way it's going to go, but I'm telling you that the debates, the first debate anyway, was either guys to lose, and neither of them lost. Neither of them did so horribly that, it blew up in their face. Trump acted the way people expected him to act, even though they didn't like it. Nobody likes that, right? Nobody likes, oh boy, look at how he's acting like a bozo head. And Biden held his own, and I think got some good shots in. Neither of them talked about some substance, but here's the deal. You can look at people's records. Biden's been in public service for 47 years. Trump's been president for over 3 years. You can look at what they've done, which is I like to not listen to what people say. I like to look at what they've done, because what somebody says to get elected is not always what they do after being elected. You can look at what they've done and say, okay, that will inform you about the man, the person, or woman. But that's not what debates are about, right? They're not about what people have done or their record or even facts. It's about looking at the person and deciding, do I want this person to be running my country? That's what it's about. And the thing about Trump is, well, he is running the country, and we know him, and we're not surprised about the outrageous things he says and does most of the time. But, we kind of know Biden too. But we don't know him as president. We know him as the guy standing next to the president and smiling and waving. But we kind of, but it's about how they come across on that screen. And it's about, what you think about that. And I'm just telling you, Trump didn't help himself at that debate. I think he hurt himself a little bit, but he didn't really help himself. Biden might have helped himself a little bit because he's been out of the public eye and he hasn't been really doing much. And so I think it was a net positive for him, albeit slightly positive. But in the polls show that the bases aren't going to change. The polls show that among undecided voters, it might have shifted that 2% maybe in his favor, in Biden's favor. And I have no reason to doubt that. I have no idea. But I believe that it was a net positive for Biden. Everybody kind of expected him to, he's going to fall down and die or something. He didn't. He held his own. And Trump was a little more aggressive than he he was more aggressive than he needed to be, let's be honest, right? And he's always more aggressive than he needs to be. He's always more in your face than he needs to be, and I think he thinks that's cool, and that's what got him here. But if he thinks what got him here is going to get him a massive win on election day, I'm not sure that's the case. I think he needs to, if he wants to win, he needs to moderate his tone and appeal to the people whose votes he needs, not the people whose votes he has. And because that's what Biden's doing. Biden is drifting, like most political candidates, when it gets down to the wire, they drift to the center with their rhetoric and their tone, because the people who are undecided are mostly centrist people. And so that's who he's trying to appeal to. What will happen after the election? No one knows, you know. I think one of Biden's best moments in the election was when he said, "I am the Democratic Party." And then he had to go and blow it by saying, "right now." So he said, what he actually said was, "I am the Democratic Party right now." And to me, that seemed like an equivocation. It's like, oh, I am it now, right? But later, I'm not sure, you know. I don't really believe the long-term goal. These people have played this scenario out. Everybody does, if you have a brain, and they all do. They're all very smart people. They played this out. Biden's not, he's a short-termer. You know, he's a short-timer. He's not in it for the long game. He's an old dude. So I believe the deal was struck that, you know, Biden is going to be president if he gets elected, and the way they got Kamala on board was, you know, Biden's entire first term is going to be positioning you to be the first female president in the United States and to get you elected. That's going to be the whole point. He may even resign halfway through his first term and appoint her or anoint her as president so that she's up for re-election instead of election. I don't know whether that's going to happen. It kind of depends on a million variables, Biden's own ego, whether he's willing to give it up or not. But I believe the deal was struck that, you know, Biden's a one-term president. And Kamala comes in, you know, for the second Biden term. You know, I don't have no idea. It's what I think is going on. It's how they got everybody to play nice on the Democratic side. And I believe that there's a lot of momentum there. There's a lot of people that want that. And a lot of Americans are kind of tired. This pandemic thing is just beating everyone down. They might just be, you know, wanting something more subtle than the Trump approach in the next 4 years. I don't know. I really don't know. But I firmly believe that if Trump doesn't change even a little bit his tone and his demeanor, he's at serious risk of losing the election. I really believe he is. Biden, I think, just needs to stay the course. I mean, keep doing what he's doing. Because I believe that he's doing enough to get across the finish line, and all he has to do, you know, it's like his election to lose. And so as long as he doesn't screw up, you know, he very well could win. As long as nobody says anything stupid or sticks their foot in their mouth, I believe that, you know, he will be the more reasonable choice, at least positioned as the more reasonable choice. Whether or not it pans out that way, I mean, in actuality, that doesn't really matter. Debates really are about perception and how people are perceived in this camera thing here. And for better or for worse, I think Trump is not perceived well by the average person, and Biden is. So, you know, there's your answer. It's not about policies and it's not about performance as much as it is about perception. So those are my thoughts on the debate. I hope you enjoyed it. And any comments which are nice and civil, it's fine with me, but I'm not going to get into a huge argument about which one I support because I live in California. So it doesn't really matter what I think. See you.